Our story begins a long, long time ago. It was a time when the world was new. Everything was fresh and beautiful. The first humans, Adam and Eve, lived in a wonderful garden. This garden was called Eden. Adam and Eve were very happy. They loved the garden. They loved each other. They loved God who made them. God loved them too. Life was good. But soon things would change. Adam and Eve would have children, and their children would face challenges. Challenges that would test their love for each other and their faith in God. Adam and Eve had two sons. The first son was named Cain. The second son was named Abel. Cain grew up to be a farmer. He worked the land. He grew fruits and vegetables. Abel became a shepherd. He took care of sheep. He led them to green pastures. He protected them from danger. The two brothers were very different. They had different jobs. They had different personalities. But they were still brothers, and they shared a common bond. They were both children of God. One day, Cain and Abel wanted to show God their thanks. They wanted to thank him for all the good things in their lives. They decided to make offerings to God. Cain, the farmer, brought some of his crops. He carefully selected the biggest and best fruits he could find. Abel, the shepherd, brought one of his sheep. He chose the best lamb from his flock. He knew this was a special gift. Both brothers were proud of their offerings. They believed they were giving God their very best. Cain and Abel made their offerings to God. They waited for his response. God looked down upon Cain and his offering. He did not seem pleased. God then looked upon Abel and his offering. He smiled. He was pleased. God favored Abel's offering. He could see the sacrifice Abel made. He knew Abel loved him. This made Cain angry. Very, very angry. How could God prefer Abel's offering over his? He had worked so hard. He had given God his best. Cain couldn't understand. He felt a burning sensation inside him. It was envy. He envied his brother. He envied God's favor. Cain's heart grew dark with anger. He couldn't think straight. He couldn't see clearly. All he could see was red. He looked at his brother, his own flesh and blood. He no longer saw a brother. He saw a rival, an enemy. Section 6. Cain's deception. Cain decided to talk to Abel. He wanted to get some answers. He wanted to understand. He called Abel to come out to the fields with him. Abel, unaware of his brother's true intentions, innocently followed. He trusted Cain. When they were alone, Cain's anger boiled over. He lashed out at Abel. He accused Abel of trying to make him look bad. He accused him of stealing God's love. Abel was shocked. He tried to reason with his brother. He tried to calm him down, but Cain wouldn't listen. He was blind with rage. Section 7. A tragic end. Cain lunged at Abel. He struck him down. Abel cried out in pain. He cried out for mercy, but Cain showed no mercy. He couldn't hear his brother's pleas. He couldn't see his brother's pain. When it was over, Abel lay still. There was no life left in him. Cain had killed his brother. He had committed the first murder. The world seemed to grow quiet. The birds stopped singing. The wind stopped blowing. Even the trees seemed to weep. Section 8. The consequences. Cain looked down at what he had done. The red mist cleared from his eyes, the anger drained from his heart. And in its place he felt something else, something terrible, something he had never felt before. It was guilt. God called out to Cain. He asked him where Abel was. Cain tried to lie. He tried to hide his sin, but God knew the truth. God punished Cain. He banished him from the land. Cain would wander the earth. He would be alone with his guilt. He would be a fugitive and a vagabond. Section 9. Lessons learned. The story of Cain and Abel is a sad one. It's a story about the dangers of envy. It's a story about the destructive power of anger, but it's also a story about the importance of making good choices. It's a story about the need for forgiveness. It's a reminder that violence is never the answer. When we feel angry or jealous, we should remember Cain and Abel. We should choose love over hate. We should choose forgiveness over revenge.